Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about relationships and the energies that we're in at this time. Now, before I jump into a call with a client, I always tune into their energy and I get a download. Either a phrase comes through or a word comes through, and it's basically a read of their energy field of what we're about to talk about. And so when that comes through, it generally sets the scene for everything else that we're going to address, work through, clear, heal, and learn from. So I just wrote this. What are you being called to change up in your habits and your routines at home? Now, in this particular instance, it was in relationship to relationships with partners, with the person you live with. And it brought up a whole topic which I feel like is really relevant to this lady, but also on some level you and as well me. So I just wanted to just cover a bit off about this. So we're being called at this time to change up habits and routines. We're in April energy. We're right back at the beginning, one energy about standing your ground, owning your truth, being really empowered, and being in that definitive energy where you can make better choices, better decisions about how you want to live your life, what you want to change, etc., etc. Anyway, so in terms of relationships, there's a lot of what I'm seeing and experiencing is there's a lot of emotion going around at the moment. There's a lot of really deep-seated feelings when it comes to those people that we live with, those people that we have a contract with, a physical contract with, a soul contract, and it's creating a lot of deep emotional feelings. These emotional feelings come up because they need to. It's the spotlight's being shone. There's illuminating in all of the dark spaces and places in relation to relationships at the moment, linked into relationships at the moment. And you'll notice it. What are you noticing in your world at the moment? When it comes to empowerment, you're probably feeling a little bit floaty, a little bit unsure, uncertain. It's like you're being pushed and pulled in a tide without your feet on the sand. You're at the whim of that other person. You're not sure whether you're coming or going, etc., etc. Now, this April energy, new beginnings, is finding those energies within you that want you to be more empowered, want you to communicate more clearly, more concisely, want you to have the difficult conversations, because it wants you to notice the fear you have around the implications of that. Or if I say this thing, then my partner will get angry. If I do this, then it's going to cause eruptions, etc. But there's a key thing that's going on in your energy field, and it's really knowing about who you truly are and what you're here, what your soul is here to achieve and to learn from and to heal from at this point in time. So, for example, are you an initiator? Are you somebody in your relationship where you always find that you are making suggestions about where to go and eat, or you're making suggestions about how you are, where you're going to live, what you're going to have for dinner, simple initiations and larger initiations. What I wish that my partner would make the choices, take choices out of my hands. I wish that they would notice the little things that other people's husbands, partners, wives seem to notice. This initiator energy is the core of you, and it's something that is you're here by design to do, to be and to work with. And so you know that this is one of your, your soul threads, one of your gifts in this life, because when you're in that, let's just say, initiator energy, you feel empowered, you feel expanded, you feel like life, you're so much bigger than life itself. And those are gifts and talents to be revered in oneself, but also they're only yours, they're not somebody else's. So you're always going to meet somebody or have a soul contract with somebody in this life that is different from you. So you learn from and you learn to collaborate with, communicate with. So you're learning from something. So you're not, as an initiator, you're not going to meet another initiator. So expecting that person to initiate things, particularly if they've never initiated it, it's like hitting your head against a brick wall. You're never going to be able to change them. You might occasionally, they might get spontaneous and go, oh yeah, if they've got enough passion within them for a topic or for an activity or whatever, they may well do that. But that initiator energy, you might think about what energy you have. What is at the core of you that makes you who you are? This is yours. This is your gift. So expecting somebody else to have that gift, who you're close to, who you live with, whatever, is just nigh on impossible to even expect that to be the case. The reason I'm saying this is because we will bring through from past lives some lessons, some learnings from which we want to heal here, but also experience something different. So if, for example, the people that we are in partnership with, we will have had at least one previous life with them where the roles may well have been reversed, the situations, the experiences were very, very different, the rules were different, the times were different, etc. And there will be an element in this life of you needing to step up in a way that you wouldn't have stepped up before. So maybe in a previous life you would have been passive, and now in this life you're meant to lead, you're meant to, strive, you're meant to make all the decisions, that's meant to be your empowered state. And so what happens is that part of us can kind of shrink if that's the case, because it's like, oh my gosh, I've got, I need to, it's like public speaking. If you're here to public speak, but you feel like you have a phobia of public speaking, it's because you've got to break through that fear and empower yourself to be the public speaker. That's what you're meant to be. And it's the same with the fact that you may well be reversing roles in this life. If you're meant to initiate, you're meant to lead, you're meant to be the figurehead, the pinhead, the figurehead. The divine feminine's meant to be more active than the masculine, and maybe historically it's like the man, as the man of the family, you are meant to be, you set the rules, you governed the money, you owned the house, and everyone did what you were told. But now in this life, you're not meant, as the woman, you're not meant to be towing the male line. Anyway, so the reason why, the way you can tell where your soul in your physical body is looking for you to expand is where you feel most emotional about something to do with your relationship right now. So if you're struggling to initiate, you're struggling to force someone else to initiate, and it's creating a lot of real deep-seated emotion, upset, tears, and whatever through the frustration, you know that if it's causing that many tears, that much feeling within, that it's a soul lesson, it's a soul journey for you to overcome. Something within me says, I don't really want to initiate. I want to pass the baton over to this person. But the initiator is what you must be. And it feels difficult, and it's emotionally draining, and it feels emotionally taxing. It feels like you're trying to get over a phobia. It's because in a past life, you weren't the initiator. You're bringing through that which you know already. And because it's like an old pair of slippers, it's a pattern, it's the common thing, it's the routine, it's the habit. You want to still keep that habit going. But the energy, the expanded energy within you, and this is how you know that it's a soul lesson to overcome and to really embrace, is when you feel into it. It's like, I feel quite expanded when I'm feeling like that. That's because that's what you must do. While the past self is struggling with the fact that they were never an initiator. This is where as you move through the experience, you're healing it and becoming who you are meant to be. I am the initiator, I am the leader. Struggle is that when you're at home with your partner who had the opposite role as you, well, I was the leader in that past life, I was the initiator in past life, they get really triggered with the fact that you are really illuminating that which is your truth, that which is your empowered state. Creates friction. I thought I ran the roost. I thought I set all the rules. I thought that that I was the leader. I thought that I thought I was in control, and that everybody else within the family had to toe the line. Particularly when you're in a relationship that has a strong modelling of the masculine being the dominant force. Maybe there's been ancestrally through the family, it's always been the man that sets the rules, that runs the household, that makes the money, that sets the tone for how life should be. And now we're here in this feeling of not being grounded and whatever, and being called to be very, 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 very strong in your dominance and your empowered state to go and do these things. And you know in your heart, it's like, I have this initiator energy, I have this independent energy, I have this freedom wanting energy. But I look at home and I'm living with somebody that is the complete opposite of that doesn't want that. You're addressing your roles. And you're not just looking at this life. Your soul is taking all of these other lives that you've ever had together. And that mix of energy is coming through. And that's where we get the resistance. But keep going and leaning into your greatness, into changing up the habits, changing up the routines, because that feels like the empowering thing to do. And it isn't easy. It isn't easy to lead. It isn't easy necessarily to do things a new way, particularly if you've been used to, in this life, doing things differently, and that other person is not used to who you are becoming. We'll try to keep life the way it is. We'll try and keep the program, the routine, the rituals going. And that might be, the narrative might be, well, I'm quite happy, or, the influence might be, the emotional influence might be, well, I'm not sure really what the problem is here. Why are you being so, why are you saying what you're saying? The defensiveness may come through. So there's a lot going on as you shift into this new way of being. And Don't meet that person in the ring. Don't meet your partner in the ring. Stay embodied. Stay firmly, your feet firmly on the ground. And ask yourself, who am I now at a soul level? What am I here to do? What is my new role, my new pattern, my new intention? And you'll know what it is. Because when you say it and you know it, it feels empowering, it feels expansive, you feel bigger than you are. When you're honest with yourself, you'll know it. You may even feel like you know what you're not. And when you know what you're not, you know this because on some level it feels shrinky and you feel small. So that quiet voice that you may well have had in the past, oh, I'll just let that go. It's like, oh, it's just that voice has now got louder. It needs air, it needs space, it needs you to shine. And change those habits and routines to meet that which you are becoming. Do it with love. And if you get the resistance from that partnership, from that significant other, I always say to clients, just keep asking the questions. Because you'll be met with defensiveness. You'll be met with intolerance. You may well be met with pushiness. You might be met with, emotions that trigger their feeling of lack, their feeling of limitation. But you're swapping roles. We're here to swap roles because we're here to experience something that we've not experienced before. It's just that they're feeling what they've experienced before because it's written into the soul, written on a soul level. Just keep going, keep expanding. And don't feel guilty, only feel empowered. So what are you being called to change up in your habits and your routines with your partner? Get very clear with yourself, and then crystal clear, expressing yourself to them what it means to you to feel empowered and what needs need to be met in order for that empowerment to maintain itself, what boundaries need to be created, or what existing boundaries need to slightly adapt in order to accommodate this feeling of empowerment that you have. I always say to my clients, boundaries are created in the moment, but moments change in the moment, every moment. So those boundaries can flex, they can move. Don't stick so rigidly to a boundary that you may have set last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago. We're in a space of new beginnings. So reset your boundary that supports your empowerment in relationship with the other. I hope this was useful. I'll catch you again soon. Take care.